How's it going, everyone? Thank you for watching. I put a video out the other day on our work page on Delta Midwest Service Incorporated, so definitely go like and subscribe that page. But you'll find this Gator was in our last video that I put out, and there was something that we were dealing with, and it had to do with the bed. The pump got stuck in the up position and wouldn't come back down, which made our job a lot harder to get the snow blowers in and out of the back of this bed. I called around to John Deere. I even looked up on forums how to fix the problem. It was very frustrating because neither the forums or John Deere really helped. A lot of the forums and even John Deere themselves wanted to change the pump, and I couldn't find that would be the reason when this machine was barely even used. So I went ahead and I worked with this machine myself. I figured out what was wrong with it. It was very simple. I'm really hoping it would save you the trouble if you have dealt with this. Which I've come to find that a lot of people have, but they really never found the full solution on what the problem was, is from what I've seen. So we're going to go over this machine, and I'll describe to you what had happened and what will definitely help you with the situation. So we're going to dive right into this machine and take a look at it. All right, so here's the 2015 825i Gator made by John Deere. I just want to quickly go over what this machine has. I've seen other machines like this one, but it doesn't have as much as this one has on it. To start off here in the front, you can see that we have the 6.5 foot V-plow made by Boss, which definitely helps with tight driveways that we deal with in particular. You can make different angles with the blade, and it definitely helps with moving that snow out of there. We have the two spotlights on top. We have spotlights right there, as you can see in the bumper. And then we have our headlight with our turn signal. And then we have a slot down there where we could put another light. But I think we got plenty of lights, as you can see. And then back in here behind this pump, if we didn't have a plow, you could put a winch in there and then just make your hookups, which is nice. And we also have the enclosure with the doors. You got mirrors, which definitely help with backing up, even though you could just look out the back window and it's not that big of a machine. Got a windshield wiper, which is another plus. And we have these extra guards here, which a lot of the machines I've seen don't have them, and as well in the back, which is nice. Extra protection is always great on these machines. And then we have the upgraded tires and rims, and they definitely have a lot of tread on them and a lot of meat, so we're not going to be slipping and sliding. And like I said earlier, the main reason why I want to make a video like this is because the bed failed on us the other day. It's got power up and power down, but it's got its issues, but it does help a lot to have that power up and power down. So I'm going to go over that later in the video and explain what had happened with that. Maybe it'll help you out too if you have the same problem. We got our tail lights, and we got our spotlight on top with our strobe light. And then, like I said, this guard turns into this nice bumper here, which is solid. And it's nice. And then we got our tailgate that opens very nice. And bed liner is inside of this bed. And we have 4 tie downs in each corner, so if you got any cargo, close that up. And as you can tell there, it's IRS. You got the independent rear suspension. You can come down here and take a look at that. And this machine does have power steering as well, which is nice. And yeah, I wouldn't be able to imagine this thing without power steering. It would not be fun. So that's really the outside of this machine. There's nothing really more to it. It's very simple. And we're going to get on the inside. I'll show you a little bit of the inside and what some of this thing has that, so a lot of other of these machines don't have, and maybe help for you to look into seeing if you're ever purchasing one, if it has it or doesn't have it. So we're going to take a look on the inside here. Alright, so we're going to open this up. We'll take a look inside. I just want to quickly share with you something that I keep on the front of my mind when I'm looking to purchase any sort of machine. But in this case, for like a machine like this, you always want to look at the seats. The seats will tell you a lot about how they were handling this machine and the abuse that it was taking. In this case, I knew right away once I opened the door to look inside, I knew this machine was great, because the seats, as you can tell here, they look brand new. So that tells me that this machine is well taken care of. I obviously did more checks around to make sure there's no leaks, there's nothing broken. But based on when I looked at the seats, that was right. Everything else was doing great on this thing. It ran great. And so that's just something that I wanted to share with you. Just look at the seats. It may sound funny, but it's simple and it tells you a lot. But here on the door, I like this because it's got a lot of storage area. You could put your drinks in there. You could put paperwork in there, anything you want to put in here. It's got storage on the doors, which is nice. It's got roll down windows, which are very nice. And then something that confused me in the beginning, but I picked up on it, when you need to fill up, it's got a cover here for the gas, because the gas is inside with you. So you just slide that open and you just fill up. But you got to push down. If you do have this in your machine, you just push down on that tab, and then you got this little handle here to help you. So that's nice. You got your seat belts in here. We're gonna take a look at the dash. There's a lot of buttons in this machine because it's got a lot of things. So this button over here, as you can tell just by looking at it, that's for the up and down of the bed. This is your turn signals right there. You come over here. I got the machine on. We added in a CB radio, but this is your horn. It's pretty loud, actually. You got your 4-wheel drive button, 2-wheel drive button. These are the headlights, and these are those extra spotlights we have and the bumper in the front. And this is the hazards. You got your charging. You got a nice speedometer, odometer. You got your miles per hour. Your coolant. You got time. So that's, and then there's your gas right there. They got the bars. And then you could adjust your modes and stuff and make adjustments to like the time and everything on here. Like I was saying earlier, we got heat. So we got this nice heat right here. It's 2 speeds. You just click it once. That's the first, and then second. As you can tell, it's on. Turn that off. And the way that this heat works, you got a lever down here that you just, right now it's on the on position, so it's letting in hot coolant. So they run the hoses in here, and then it's got blue, so that just tells you that you turned off the heat. So that's nice and simple. And then you come down here, you got cup holders. That's for the plow right there. You got your pedals down here. And then here, this is the parking brake. Always want to put this on because there is no park on these machines. It doesn't have a transmission. That's another thing about this machine. It's centrifugal clutch, so it's as you raise your RPMs, the clutch engages and just keeps spinning faster and faster, which threw me off in the beginning because I thought there was something wrong with the machine when I first started driving it. I didn't do as much research as I should have, but the guy helped explain that I purchased it from. He did explain, and it makes sense now. So you just go forward, down for drive, back for reverse, and then you got your low and high. And then another cool thing that this machine has is it got posi traction right there. You could lock the diff, so you just pull that up and you lock the diff. I don't use it, but you can use it if you want. And we'll quickly come up here. We got a radio in here, which is nice. It's got Bluetooth. It's self-explanatory. You got your strobe, you got your spots, another spot, and then you got a windshield button right there. So, and then you got a, cab light. So, and then another thing, underneath this bench right here, you can find your battery, you can find your intake, and all that good stuff. Very simple. And yeah, we're gonna get looking at that pump, the real reason why I made this video. So we're gonna dive into that. So here we go. Okay, so I got the bed up, and we're just gonna take a look under here. The nice thing about this is the motor's right here, so you have a lot of room to work on it. and it's very accessible to do any maintenance, which is nice. But we're going to come in here and we're going to take a look at this pump. That's the pump that we were dealing with. That's a hydraulic pump. The older ones used to be worm gear, so they had a gear inside that would turn and it would just crank it up or crank it down. But as they got newer and newer, they finally put hydraulic pumps in here. So that right there has 2 cotter pins on the top and on the bottom, which is very easy to remove. And then you just got a pigtail, that blue one right there. So you just unsnap that, take those cotter pins out, and then the pump will come straight out if you ever want to replace it. Very simple. But the issue that we were having was we put the bed up a little bit the other day when it was negative 35 out, which wasn't a good idea, because I come to learn that these pumps, they do not like the cold at all. So if you ever decide that you're going to operate this in negative degrees, it's not probably going to work properly, and you're probably going to have issues. Don't worry. Don't think that you got to change your pump, because that's what I was thinking I was going to have to do. I did call John Deere, a couple John Deeres, to get some information on it, and all they kept telling me was that I have to change it. But it wasn't finally until one of them that I had finally spoken to, was the last one. They had stated that, yeah, these pumps do have issues when it's cold outside. The newer models, you will not find that issue because they did upgrade it and changed, I guess, the design of the pump. But if you have, an older one that started using hydraulic pumps, you're going to have issues in the cold. But what I found to have fixed this problem was these harnesses that are here. This is on the passenger side of the frame. You got 2 of them right here. You want to make sure that those are tight, because they slide out and you just want to push them back into place. And then also these contactors here, you just want to make sure that their harnesses are good and tight, as well as that main pigtail. That's the main pigtail that ties into that wire that goes into the pump. I checked all that out. I did notice that they were cutting power off to the switch, and then it was giving power to the switch. So that was good, but the problem still was the pump wasn't releasing. It would run, but it wouldn't release. So I then thought I was going to have to replace the pump, which is very expensive, and I didn't think it was necessary because this pump is not that old. So I ended up taking the entire thing out, and I warmed it up for about 2 hours inside a warm climate, and brought it back outside, put it back in, plugged it in, and it worked. So that is just a very, very simple fix. It'll save you, obviously, the headache of trying to replace it, and spending the money to replace it. If I should say, it's not really a headache to replace it because it's very simple. But yeah, that is what fixed this problem. I don't advise you using your pump in the freezing cold. Just leave it alone. Don't even use it. Don't even bother with it, because it'll end up getting stuck. So we're going to go ahead and put it down. Let's see. There she goes. Real quick, one more last thing. You do want to make sure that when you go down, like I just did there, I held it a little bit, and you want to hear the pump continuously sucking down, because it ensures that the bed is locked into place. If you don't go down far enough, the bed will shake and it won't hold into place. It's stated by the manufacturer to do that as well, so just always make sure that you do that. But yeah, that's just the overview of this machine. If you have any other questions, anything you want to ask me, just let me know. Comment on the bottom, and I'll make a video if you have any other questions that you want me to show you on this machine. I'm going to be making more videos of other machines that I have, and hopefully this helps you out. So just let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.